Right here I've got a Marshall Valvestate VS30R, which is a fairly entry-level solid-state amp from the mid to late 90s. I got it in for repairs. The headphone jack had come loose from the board, and as a result the sound just kept cutting out because the sound signal actually goes through the headphone jack so that it can cut out when you plug something in there. All the pots were really scratchy, and they cleaned those up a bit. Some of them are still a little slightly scratchy, but a lot better than they were. And then lastly, there was a capacitor that had come loose on the main board. I did another video involving that. But everything's back working again, so while I have it here, might as well do a quick demo video and play some music through it. This has two channels and a foot switch that operates between the two of them. So there's a foot switch there, a channel select for if you don't have the switch. I'm not sure if the foot switch activates the reverb or not. I suppose when I looked in there I should have seen if it had 3 prongs or just 2. And then the clean, it's volume, bass, and treble. And then there's a channel 2, which is an overdrive. I would say it's a very strong distortion. Overdrive is not the word I would have used, but there's a gain, bass, contour, and treble, and then a volume on there. And there is a reverb, which I look inside, there is actually a tank reverb, though when I was playing with it, it's not very strong. You don't hear it all that much. Looking around the back, it has a Marshall Gold Black Series. This is a Celestian speaker. And I was surprised by this one. It was actually made in England. I guess the 90s were still a time when they made entry-level things in developed countries. Anyway, I'll plug this in real fast and put up a mic in front of it and just play a couple of noodles. Alright, I'm going to start off in the clean channel for a little bit. Let me pull the volume down slightly to get a cleaner sound. This amp tends to be very trebly if you turn the treble all the way up. Especially with a coil tap like this. This is a single coil, coil tapped guitar. So it's a bit bright. I'm going to pull that down a bit and do a quick clean demo. There is also that tank reverb on here. I'm going to pull it way up. It's not as loud as I might have expected it to be, but that's okay with me. I don't like huge amounts of reverb, but... So if you're into a lot of reverb, that's probably not going to cut it. Of course, I don't know for sure if that's just after all these years it's not working as well as it once did. But anyway, if you're using it for heavily reverberated things, you might want to pedal. I'm going to pull this up all the way on the clean channel and give an idea of how the clean channel breaks up, which I think is surprisingly good for a solid state amp, especially one this age. I'm generally not a fan of the way they break up and have like nasal sort of sound to them, kind of like too much negative feedback on a tube amp, but it isn't bad. This is what it sounds like here. I'm gonna uncoil tap it and do a humbucker for this. That may be a little bit too much bass. Let me pull that back a little bit there. Let's see if that's better. Coil tap. take a try at this gain channel here. Now the gain channel is very gainy. Just for a moment, I'm going to pull it all the way up and turn the master volume down a bit, because that's just going to be too much. Otherwise, this is what the gain channel sounds like. You can see how far down I've already pulled the treble. It's very, very hissy. Which is entirely too much, but if this, after a while you can do a bit of dialing and get it to be up. But still, I'm going to pull that gain down significantly in order to get a usable tone, especially at higher volume on here. At least in my opinion, I'm not a big fan of hiss. If I pull the, let's see how far I can take down the gain to E. So yeah, that's basically a general idea of what this amp sounds like. I actually think that the clean channel is not bad for what it is. The high gain channel, or the so-called overdrive channel, I think is maybe a bit too much, especially when you pin out the volume. It starts to just kind of become a wall of hiss. But it could be a decent bedroom amp, especially if you pull down the volume way down. Again, there's still a little bit of scratchiness in the pots there. And then it can be kind of fun to do the sort of like the bedroom volume level crunch. You can see that being good for some like 90s alt rock stuff. I definitely wouldn't try playing a show on that channel though. Anyway, I hope you liked this video and found it interesting.